Nebraskans know we have a problem and we understand it. We roll up our sleeves and we do something about it. And I think that's the most important piece of today's press conference. We have to create awareness. We have to create education with Nebraskans to make them understand there are bad, creepy, cruddy people that have infiltrated our state. Highest calling of government, highest calling of all of us is to protect our neighbors and, for crying out loud, protect our kids. So I think it's really, really important that we take this issue seriously. There's been work being done for 15 years, but it's not enough. We're quite honestly losing the game. I'm hearing of it in communities that my reaction's been no way possible. So it's really, really important that we understand. And again, these dumb phones create nothing but predators. I'm really, really proud of the work that the legislature did this past year with decreasing the use and decreasing the predatory potential. But it takes all of us. It takes all of us. So I'm going to proclaim a proclamation, and then I'll turn it over to Attorney Generals, and I'll let me just simply say, whereas the Nebraska Human Trafficking Task Force coordinates statewide efforts to prevent, identify, and respond to human trafficking through a trauma-informed, survivor-focused approach that recognizes a complex and unique dynamics of exploitation. And whereas survivor-seeking organizations across Nebraska provide comprehensive, voluntarily and culturally responsive services and work in partnership with law enforcement to support survivor recovery while strengthening efforts to end trafficking. And whereas the state of Nebraska affirms that human trafficking will not be tolerated in any form and remains committed to pursuing justice while prioritizing survivor well-being and long-term healing. And whereas human trafficking can only be completely confronted by an educated citizenry. Now, therefore, be I, Jim Pillen, Governor of the extraordinary state of Nebraska, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2026 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month in Nebraska, and I do hereby urge all citizens to take due notice, and we need help to make sure all citizens take due notice and take action. Thanks for everybody being here. First off, as your governor, when we build our cabinet, build our team, and it's with extraordinary pleasure, we have an incredible leader heading up a phenomenal agency, the Nebraska State Patrol. Colonel Waugh's been on board 6 months, having an incredible impact, and really, really proud. Colonel Waugh. Thank you.
Thanks, Governor. Thank you, Attorney General Hilgers, and all of our guests that are here today. I want to start by just thanking Governor Pillen and all of you that are here, obviously, and sharing in the unwavering support for professional policing, professional law enforcement, particularly in this space and where we're making a direct impact and saving the lives of innocent victims. I want to take a moment, put yourself in the place of a human trafficking victim. You're scared, you're trapped, you have no idea how to get free, you need a hero. Today, we want you all to understand that you can be that hero for that victim. Ending the heinous crime of human trafficking seems like a daunting task, but we focus on the individual cases, we can all make a difference. If you see something suspicious, you suspect human trafficking is going on, or if you're a victim yourself, call the Nebraska Human Trafficking Hotline and make a report. The hotline is 833-PLS-LOOK. That's 833-PLEASE-LOOK. In 2025, the hotline received 88 calls. Those calls came from numerous counties across our state. Many of those calls are tips from members of the public who saw something suspicious. Those calls also came from victim advocates. The hotline is monitored 24 hours per day. If the call includes actionable information, our Nebraska State Patrol dispatchers can dispatch a law enforcement officer, and this dedicated team is able to investigate, whether that's Nebraska State Patrol or one of our partner agencies, state, federal, local law enforcement partners across Nebraska. This effort is truly a partnership from the law enforcement entities here today, the victim advocates and educators, the entire public, everyone can play a part. The Nebraska State Patrol Carrier Enforcement Division has partnered for over a decade with the trucking industry to also raise awareness of human trafficking, especially where it occurs across the state lines. The advocacy group, TAT, short for Truckers Against Trafficking, has trained well over 2 million people on understanding the signs of human trafficking. The Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance also promotes human trafficking awareness every year. The efforts of the CVSA and TAT focus on professional drivers who may encounter human trafficking activity on the road, at rest areas, or truck stops. Every minute of training may be the difference in rescuing a victim. While today is a time to raise awareness, every day is a time to be aware. Be vigilant, know the signs of human trafficking, and remember the hotline, and be prepared to be a hero that victim may need. Thank you so much. Governor Phil.
Thank you, Colonel Wall. We're grateful for all the sacrifices you and everybody in the State Patrol takes, and risking, you never know. And so we're grateful. Next, I want to introduce our awesome Attorney General. Privileged to be able to partner on so many issues, and our Attorney General Hilgers is a warrior and a battler, and never gives up. Attorney General, thank you.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to echo everything that the governor just said. This is a sobering day. It's a day where we actually reflect on some of the worst things that one person can do to another. It's a day to reflect on the evil that can be within the hearts of even people in our community. And it's a sad day because as we think about the survivors and the trauma that they've gone through, I think it's just a moment to take a step back and really realize the harm that's been done to so many of our fellow citizens. At the same time, though, I will say that when we talk about human trafficking, the evil of human trafficking is counterbalanced, I think, by the best, not just of humanity, but the best of Nebraskans. And I think Exhibit A of that, by the way, is this entire hearing room today. I don't think I saw half this many people when we sued Colorado Governor to have at the press conference. And I think it is a reflection of the best of people. It's the best of Nebraska. And we see it every day. We see the warmth, we see the love, we see the grace, and the patience and the dedication and the grit of so many people. I could spend 30 minutes thanking everyone here, but it goes from all of our amazing law enforcement partners on the Human Trafficking Task Force. It goes to all the nonprofits and the people who give so much of themselves emotionally, of their time, to help support survivors and do so much in a victim-centered way. It goes to all the people in my office. I've got a number of people from my team under Mike Guinan's leadership who are here, up and down the aisle, from businesses to law enforcement to community leaders. We see a warm embrace of the best of Nebraskans, and I'm incredibly grateful for all that they do every day. And it also includes all of our great senators. I think the story of the fight in Nebraska against human trafficking really has started with all of the amazing support from our senators, all the way back 10 years ago when Nebraska was leading the fight nationally to today. And we've got Senator Storrs here who's led against online exploitation. Senator Raybould, I saw, is here, brought a bill on MMIP support, giving us the ability to help our tribal neighbors with a lot of their missing and murdered issues. And so it really takes all of us, and I'm so grateful for all the support from so many. I'm going to come back here in a minute and talk to you a little bit about, we issue an annual report, and I want to highlight a few of the good things that this team has done collectively. But I want to introduce a couple of people here in a second who are going to speak. But before I do, I want to highlight maybe one of the biggest things of this last year, which was the significant takedown. Everyone saw it in August, led by Gene Cowell and the FBI, Homeland Security, and I think about a dozen agencies. There were over 300 people involved on that takedown, a number of arrests. Best news of all, not just dismantling this organization, but also helped a number of survivors. And there's a lot of work goes behind the scenes for all these types of cases, but I think recognizing the amazing work, not only of the FBI and their leadership and Gene's amazing work from his team, but just what it helped to do in the consciousness of the public to show that we're making progress in this battle, and we can win when we all work together. So I really want to, if we can give maybe Gene and the team a big round of applause. So I'm going to introduce a couple people here really who are instrumental to our work and I think are such a reflection of this sort of broad, diverse base of support that we have. First, from our business community, I want to introduce Anna Kastner. She is Senior Director of Corporate Affairs at First National and has really been a leader from our corporate community. And I think hearing her story and the work that First National has done, I think not only is it a great reflection of how our corporate business partners can be in the state of Nebraska, the Lauritsen family, but also really when our public-private partnerships work the best way, which is not just contributing money, which of course happens, but it's actually putting time and effort to lead and to work with law enforcement to help actually make a significant difference. And Anna and the Halt Fund and the work that they've done has been a big part of that. So I want to introduce Anna Kastner.
Thank you. First National Bank of Omaha has created a great partnership with the Nebraska Bankers Association on the conception of the Halt Fund, which we launched in May of 2024. The next several months were used to get organized, but also talk to interested parties from across the state. And what's interesting is this model that's housed by the Nebraska Bankers Association is very unique to Nebraska. No other banking association is using the time and resources to help eradicate human trafficking. So the Nebraska bankers, we are very grateful for them. The Halt Fund is it's made up of donors all across the state. 81 bankers, community leaders, individuals, from thousands of dollars to $10. The Halt Fund provides grants to nonprofits, but we're focusing specifically on data, technology, and education. Through this process, it's been eye-opening to me and many involved with the Halt Fund, including the Grant Review Committee, for us to see the needs in the smallest of towns in Nebraska. It's not just in Omaha and Lincoln or along I-80. It's in the Sandhills. It's in southwest Nebraska. It's in northeast Nebraska. It's in my hometown. The human trafficking knows no geographic boundaries, including in Nebraska. Partnerships like the Halt Fund will continue the effort to end human trafficking in Nebraska. We have a website, www.haltfund.org, if you want to learn more about it. I know Richard will get into a little bit on the grants that we have given, but it's a great privilege for First National to partner with FNBO in trying to get money to these communities. Thank you.
I get to introduce you. I will say, when I first met with Anna and her team, it was inspiring because they just called us up and they said, this is on our heart. This is a lot of our employees, dozens, if not hundreds of employees, were focused on human trafficking. They're like, we know we're not law enforcement. We know we don't work for one of our great CACs or nonprofits who are embracing survivors, but we want to help. And not only did they come and say we want to help, but they had a lot of ideas on how to help, and then they executed on all that. So really appreciate your leadership, Anna, and those of the First National family. And now I want to introduce the president and CEO of the Nebraska Bankers Association, who's been a longtime leader in a lot of fronts in the state of Nebraska, Richard Beyer.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Let me start by thanking Governor Pillen for continuing to raise awareness about this topic. Has been noted, it's not a lot of fun to talk about some days, but it is important that it stays top of mind. Secondly, my thanks to Attorney General Hilgers and his dedicated team for continuing to work and make statewide impacts so that we can help eradicate trafficking in our state. As Anna outlined, we had 81 contributors that contributed to the Halt Fund. Last year, we awarded 6 grants in 2025, totaling $99,000. And I thought I might give you just a couple of ideas about what those grants look like. One of them is HTI Labs in partnership with ESU number 2 to educate students, parents, and stakeholders about risks and the science of trafficking. Secondly is the Imperial Police Department at a public education campaign as well as surveillance equipment to track folks who might be showing up in their parks from other states, in this case. The Nebraska Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence developing a marketing kit and marketing materials to help talk to stakeholders about human trafficking. And the list goes on, and we've been really pleased with how those folks and how those dollars have been used and how we've really been able to partner and educate so many Nebraskans from Omaha to the Panhandle. Let me do one final thing, and it's really a reflection of some of the comments the Attorney General Hilger's made, and that's really, I want to extend our personal thanks to the many partners we've worked with across the state. Obviously, the law enforcement community, I never thought that the special agent in charge at the FBI and I would be frequent pen pals, but here we are. To the law enforcement community, to the state patrol and others, to our educators, who are some of the first folks to spot trafficking and grooming in our schools. And I know the senators here understand that, and so thank you for your work in that area. To our business and industry partners for supporting prevention and sharing your dollars to make this HALT Fund a reality. And then finally, for me, it's personal, and those are the underappreciated not-for-profits who are in this room today who work tirelessly, often without a lot of fanfare, to really help us prevent human trafficking and also to help survivors of this horrible situation. So I would ask a favor, Governor, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask a little audience participation. If you happen to work for one of those not-for-profits, would you please raise your hand? Thank you. Let me close by again thanking all of you for your interest. But more importantly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say haltfund.org again. We are still collecting donations so that we can continue to have an impact. So if you find yourself with a few extra bucks, haltfund.org. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, A.G. Hilgers. Thanks. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks,
Okay, one more introduction. I'm going to give you highlights, and we'll give it back to the governor for questions. Takes all partners, but one partner I haven't mentioned is really such a blessing here in Nebraska. To win this fight, we have to have the best resources that we can. We have to be on the cutting edge technologically if we can, and we're really fortunate here in Nebraska that we have the leader, in my opinion, in the technological space with HTI Labs. We've been using the LEADS program now for a couple of years. I think a couple states are now starting to catch on to it, and we're fortunate that came right here to Nebraska. We should all be very proud of that. And so I want to introduce the founder, and I just learned today, it came from your thesis in dissertation in school, the founder and CEO, Krista Price. Krista.
Thank you, guys. Over the past 10 or so years, working alongside law enforcement, victim service providers, schools, child welfare, tribes, the financial sector, one theme really became clear. Human trafficking rarely announces itself. It shows up in pieces. You'll see, a missed school day, a report that doesn't quite connect, a concern that seems isolated when you're the only one seeing it. And that really clicked for us back in 2017 when assisting on an operation where several agencies across these different sectors were in the same room together and searched the same name in their systems. And one by one, reports popped up, each one, incomplete on its own, but each one handled appropriately by that person at that time. And it wasn't until they were all pieced together that the story of trafficking became really clear. This was a situation where someone had been exploited for more than a decade, and there were multiple opportunities to identify the situation if it was the case that we saw the whole thing. So we decided at that time to really transform our approach. We understand that combating trafficking requires a coordinated way of seeing patterns across sectors, jurisdiction, and time, and we worked alongside all of our partners on the task force under the Attorney General's office to build tools designed for how trafficking occurs in real life. Those tools became PAVE and LEADS, part of HTI platform, and they are being used by agencies statewide to really document the concerns that they have, to connect information in secure and meaningful ways and private ways, and to see patterns that no single report or agency could see on their own. As a result, Nebraska has uncovered nearly 200 trafficking networks throughout our platform over the years, supported more than 1,500 survivors, and dozens of traffickers have been convicted, highlighting how connecting pieces in this way results in prosecutable cases. Cases born out of what initially appeared to be, minor incidents, like shoplifting or traffic violations, but that advanced into some of the most complex and large-scale investigations, including local, regional, and even international networks. And this has snowballed into cases being prosecuted across the country from the work of all the partners here in Nebraska. This past year, 32 people were charged in this state from investigations and leads. And the most exciting part of it is that because of the way that this work was built, the results are compounding. Our partners are becoming more proficient in using the tools. Our database of red flags continues to grow and learn. And our networks are becoming more sophisticated, revealing relationships across jurisdictions and organized groups. That means that we're not just chasing endless tunnels of perpetrators or patterns of re-victimization. We now have the infrastructure to work smarter. Praise God. And thank you to all of our partners across the state in law enforcement, victim services, education, DHHS, and community organizations for really being on the front lines and the integrity and the persistence that you all bring to this work every single day. Nebraska has really grown the solution from its roots, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud to say that we have been doing really amazing work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Krista. So every year, I think since the last 10 years, my office issues in conjunction with the proclamation, the Human Trafficking Annual Report from the Task Force. This is our 10th year, so it's a big year for us. I just want to give you 4 highlights. Hopefully you can read the report yourself of some of the things that have happened over the last year. Number 1, we had our 2nd annual summit, Human Trafficking Summit. We've got amazing people working across silos. 2 years ago, we had our first one. We had over 200 people. This last year in Lincoln, we had over 300. So it was an opportunity to collaborate, to develop relationships, and to get those 1 + 1 = 3 opportunities to work together. The second thing is we had some really significant legislation get passed. LB 383 was passed with Senator Hardin's bill to close the loophole on AI-generated CSAM, which is a really growing threat around the country. Nebraska, again, led the way. We also had LB 78, Senator Bostar's bill, which is going to provide funding for shelter for survivors. And I want to echo what's I almost said you Senator Beyer. I don't know if that's a demotion or a promotion, Richard, but the people in the nonprofits who are here today, you are absolute heroes. If I missed anyone by listing your names, I couldn't live with myself. But what you do every day to embrace survivors, to support survivors with love and dedication and grace is something that I hope my kids grow up and can emulate. I think it's the best of Nebraska, and I'm just so grateful for what you do. We know you're underfunded. LB 78 will help, I think, a little bit towards that direction to help give a little bit more support that we know survivors need. And the last thing I do want to emphasize one of our other prosecutions. One of our task force teammates, Marty Klein in Hall County, had a very significant prosecution against a gentleman who was a sextortion prosecution. The facts were terrible. I'll just tell you, almost 24 minors were impacted. Terrible facts, really just awful. It was just an awful case, and that the defendant was sentenced to over 80 years in prison. One thing I want to note, sometimes people ask, hey, how many prosecutions do you have? What are the numbers like? That's not a bad way to measure things. I do want to emphasize that our prosecutors and the people who lead these cases are always thinking about the victims and the survivors. Sometimes cases get prosecuted in a different way so that we don't have to re-traumatize these survivors, so they're not having to testify a second time. And so it doesn't always show up in the data. It doesn't always show up in the headline prosecutions, but our prosecutors are making progress all the time around the state of Nebraska, and I was very proud to highlight that in our report this year. So with that, I'll give it back to the governor. Governor?
Thanks. Appreciate it. Maybe let me close on a part that I think is extraordinary in this battle, our young people. It's incredible the privilege I get to be invited to numerous things. So we have lots of people working together, young people coming together. And I've got to give an incredible shout out. I've probably been to 5, 6 in these last 3 years. Young people come together. There might be 12, there might be 30, there might be 40, just depends on the circumstance. Guess who was there every single time? One of the more extraordinary student athletes, we all love her, Becca Ellick. Becca has an extraordinary heart. She's been battling and being a part of this process, helping awareness within our young students. And, I don't know why in the heck she's playing pro volleyball over at Wisconsin. If she'd been loved Nebraska, she'd have been here today. But I think it's important that we recognize the other piece of this, where we have young people, helping create awareness to help decrease the vulnerability as well. And Becca's a rock star at it, and she's got a heart of a lion. So with that, questions from the press, and I'll repeat the question and go from there. And thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us get the word out. And thank you to everybody that's here. This is really, really important. Any questions? Congratulations, Attorney General. I need to have you at all my press conferences. All right.